everybody, welcome back to Love Bakudan. Here we are. We were on our way to Himeko's to help her out with her manga story that's going to be in a contest. So we're going to stay at her place for a few days. And we were on our way, and we just happened to bump into somebody. Who is it? I don't know. But we'll find out right now. Right now. Ah, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's Yuki. No, it was my fault. Haruka. Looking up from the sidewalk in apology to the person I'd bumped into, I found myself pleasantly surprised when I saw a very familiar face as the source of my voice. Source of the voice. Yuki! Standing before me in the basking glow of the orange sunset, Yuki stood with her arms folded in surprise at my appearance. Haruka, what are you doing here this time of day? I think you are probably heading for another bar with Say or something. Hey, I'm not a drunk, you know. Honestly, you spend one night playing cards and getting a little tipsy at your bar and your perception of me just totally changes. I'm just teasing you. It's nice to see you so unexpectedly. Yeah, you too. Heading off to work? Unfortunately. But Tara's been a little nicer since you were in the bar the other night, though. I don't really know what you did to change your mind from being a complete asshole, but now she's only half of one. Wow, a drastic of a change, huh? Apparently. Maybe she saw the way I look at someone I actually care about and realized just how much I despise her. I laughed to myself as Yuki shook her head. Aw, consider me flattered, and besides, wasn't it more that she gave you a bonus for being such a good host? Well, me, Tara, and money don't exactly mix well together. I'll be surprised if she actually goes through with giving me that bonus. Yuki? Well, enough about that. How have you been? Yuki's eyes brought their normal emerald gaze towards the back of my shoulder and narrowed them as she looked back into my own. Going somewhere? Not too far, don't worry. I'm not running off again. A brief look of relief on Yuki's face made me feel a mixture of old guilt and happiness. Good, I'm glad to hear it. So, if not to the other side of the universe, then where? Well, remember that girl I talked your ear off about it the other day? I'm going to stay with her for a few days. It's been going so well. I really think she could be something special. Your advice really hit home, you know? I just decided to cut loose and be myself, and it seemed to have worked. Yuki blinked with wide eyes as she looked at me in surprise, and I felt a little awkward. I don't think I've ever heard you talk about any woman like that before. Yeah, well, you know, first time for everything and all that. I'm happy for you, Haruka. I hope it works out. Maybe I can be next, if I can find anyone actually nice left here outside the awful work hours. Hey, come on now. Your job situation won't be the way that it is forever. Unless Tara and I surprise each other and end up getting married from falling hopelessly in love. I think I'm probably going to be chained to her for a long time. Well, if she's lessened her asshole tendencies, maybe it's a sign for what's to come. Now who's being the asshole? Don't even joke about that. Put a smile on your face, though. Well, you always know how to do that. Yuki smiled at me, and I smiled back inside. Ugh. I'm loath to cut this conversation short, Haruka, but I'd better get going. Tara's alarming nice streak only happens when hell freezes over, so I might be cut short if I'm late today. Well, sure thing. Just try not to take it all so seriously, okay? Things will get better, I promise. I'll do my best. Kinda hard not to when you're in the thick of it, though. I know. I wish I could make it a bit easier for you. You do just by being here, Haruka, don't worry. Aww. Yuki. That's so sweet. See ya. Have fun. Thanks, Yuki. Have a good night. We'll see. Talk to you tomorrow. Or soon. Let's talk to you soon. Bye for now. Don't go getting into too much trouble now, you little rascal, you. And the very same to you. Yuki smiled as she waved a hand at me gently, placing it on my shoulder as she brushed past me. I began to walk with her high heels, clicking on down to where she worked. I did feel bad for her. I wish I could do something or anything to make her feel a little bit better, to make it a little better, you know? But at least it sounded like now Tara was being a little bit nicer. I wondered just what she truly wanted from that. But no matter what was going on in Yuki's life, I had a place to be and a girl to see. And that was something I found myself increasingly excited for with each tick of the clock that hung over the world. After much navigating Akiyama's streets underneath the shifting indigo sky, I eventually made it to the front of Himeko's small apartment block and pressed the buzzer as I waited on the front step. Haruka, is that you? She sounded so cute, even in electronic form. The best form. Yep, it's me. I'm all set. Can I come in? Yes, I'll open now. I'm on the 3rd floor. With the soft click of the front door, the lock opened and I made my way inside. It was a nice little place, quaint and cozy. Felt like this was somewhere that an elderly woman should have lived with 1,000,001 cats. Ah! The kitty. Speak of the devil, who are you, little missy? The cute, mischievous little black and white cat wrapped herself around my legs before rushing off into the cat flap of the apartment to my left. And I figured it probably belonged to whoever owned this building if it was just able to rush around with such free reign. I smiled to myself, thinking back on the cat cafe date Himeko and I had gone on just yesterday. Was it? Wasn't yesterday, was it? It was a couple days ago, right? I began to climb the carpeted stairs. Maybe it was yesterday. Luckily for me, this place wasn't that big. Oh yeah, I guess it was yesterday. This is just the evening. I made my way up to the top floor, just outside Himeko's door, and, taking a nervous breath in, ooh, I knocked softly. Ah! Himeko, can I come in? Oh, I heard something get knocked over along with a concerning crinkling sound, and I grinned as I could hear the flustering going on behind the closed door. Just a minute. Why did I have to spill something now? I laughed as Himeko sorted herself out, and eventually, after much flustering and mumbling under her breath, I was greeted with the sight of her opening the door. Hey! Haruka! Hey, mind if I come in? Of course, make yourself at home. I grinned at the girl flustering in front of me, and after taking off my shoes, I took a step inside the home of Himeko Kurosu. I never felt this way by visiting another girl's home before. Sure, I felt excited because I'd known what was most likely going to happen if the girl in question was someone other than Sayayuki. But this felt different. This felt like I really was going to stay with my crush for the first time. I smiled to myself as I placed the bag down next to my feet and slipped my hands into my pockets as Himeko fumbled before me. Do you want something to eat or anything? Oh, sure, that'd be nice. Okay. Rushing off into the kitchen, Himeko disappeared from view, and I was left to look around the living room of where I'd be stationing myself for the next few days. It was a nice place Himeko had here. Pretty, sleek, somehow super cute. Got a balcony, that looks nice. Felt very much like the outside did. Warm, cozy, and inviting. There was a small television, a sitting area, a bookshelf. This was Himeko's little nest. I like the minimalist style, looks nice. She invited me into her world to share it with her, if only for a short while. I wondered how far we were going to make it with this manga project of hers. I forgot to ask, is there anything you like in particular? Well, what did you have planned for tonight? Himeko paused, unsure of what I was asking at first, and blushed a little. I smirked. Oh no, I didn't mean anything racy by that. I was just wondering if we were gonna start working tonight or tomorrow. Oh, no, I think we should start tomorrow. So you invited me over to stay the night just because, huh? What? No, not entirely. I think it's good if we were in the same place, just so we can begin right away tomorrow morning. And well, Himeko flustered, and I found myself reveling in it. This is going to be fun, after all. You're cute, Himeko. Honestly, Haruka, you're always teasing me. I'll go and get the snacks now. Himeko rushed back into the kitchen, and I chuckled. And as I sat down to watch some TV, I flicked through the channels absentmindedly. I stopped on an especially mindless-looking program dedicated to showing off luxury boats set to classical music as I waited for her to return. Wow, it is a nice boat. But a whole half hour dedicated to it? I don't know. Is it that nice? Flipping the channel over once more, I settled on something much more interesting. I'm back! Himeko whacked her leg on the edge of the table as the tea tray in her hand wobbled with a clatter, and I leapt to my feet to help her steady herself. Whoa, you alright? Sorry, I'm always tripping over that damn table. It's alright. Here, why don't we Why don't we sit on your sofa instead? Taking the tea tray out of Himeko's hands and placing it on the menace of a table that rests before us. I sat down on the cozy cushions of her sofa, and Himeko sat down daintily afterwards. She bunched her hands up, clasped together in the center of her thighs, and looked down a little awkwardly as I sat next to her. Were you watching something? My attention went back to what I had caught in the first place toward the TV, and I made the noise of surprise at my forgetful memory. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked when I thought you hurt yourself. Sorry about that. Oh, it's alright. I just noticed that one of my favorite movies was on TV. Oh, what's this? A Scarface. It's really good. It's called Laserlight. Never heard of it? Himeko tapped her chin as she began to relax a little, and I handed her a cup of tea she just made. Thanks. Tea looks delicious. Thank you for making it. You think so? I'm glad. I've never heard of Laserlight though. What's it about? Really? It's a great movie. Lots of car chases and neon, that kind of thing. Do you like action movies, Haruka? Oh, for sure. I love them. Anything with a car chase and a gunfight, I'm there. Himeko chuckled in a way that made my heart flutter and nodded as she pushed her glasses back up the bridge of her nose again. Well, we can watch it if you want. You sure? You like action movies, Himeko? I don't mind them. I haven't seen many, but I'm willing to try anything once. A knowing smile came across Himeko's face as she grinned to herself privately. I couldn't help but laugh quietly to myself as I remembered the delicious pictures she sent me just last night. I'll bet. Okay, let's watch this for a little while then. Himeko nodded, and as I turned the volume up on the movie, I felt very happy to see that it was just starting. Laserlight was my favorite movie. Like I said to Himeko, it really was just a feast of neon lights, car chases, unusual money heists, and gunfights that got particularly gore-filled in spots. I loved it. The adrenaline coursed through my veins as the opening scene began to play. Wow. Right? The opening scene is seriously good. As Himeko began to talk, the channel suddenly went blank, and both of us sat there for a moment, blinking in confusion. Eh? Oh, what's going on? This isn't part of the movie, is it? I stood up from the sofa in bewilderment, wandered over the TV and patted the top of the screen twice. What the hell? Is the TV busted? Himeko, try switching to another channel. Okay. Himeko did his ass and turned over to another station. That station's been working just fine. Some asinine show or another about cooking and talking incessantly about it to the audience watching at home. Damn it, did the channel just go down? How typical, right? Sorry, Haruka. Perhaps we can watch a different movie. You got any DVDs you want to share? Himiko's eyes lit up at the suggestion. She leapt off the sofa to rush over to her shelf. Well, for action, I have, I noticed her face getting a little redder as she was looking, and I felt a smirk come across my face. Action, huh? Given this kind of girl Himeko had already shown me she was behind closed doors, I imagine most of those DVDs were things that were not meant for the average person's eyes. It's alright if you don't. No, I found one here. Thrusting a DVD case in my hands, I looked down at it. Dead Harder Than Ever 5, this time it's personal. Oh, the Dead Harder series, huh? Yes. I love this one, if you'd like to watch it. Sure, sounds good to me. Let's watch this instead, if the gods above don't want us to watch Laserlight for some reason. Himeko gleefully took the DVD from my hands again with a twinkle of excitement in her adorable eyes and bent over to put the disc in the player. It even looked good from behind, too. Okay, let's watch. Rushing back over as though she had noticed the giddy, lustful blush on my face, she sat herself down with an excited grin and pressed play. Oh, hey, want me to get the lights? Huh? Forgot to ask before, but I was very interested in making the assignments between us as heavy as possible. Himeko apparently liked that idea, too. Sure. Okay. The movie itself was okay. To be honest, I wasn't really that into it, but Himeko was having such a good time that it made it such an enjoyable experience. The gunfights and the car chases were definitely present, and the obligatory one-liners were as cheesy as one would expect. Rounding off the package was a ridiculous number of explosions. As the lights flickered against our faces in the dark, I thought back to when Himeko had said she loved drawing those in particular. Suddenly, everything made sense about why she loved this particular installment of the movie as much as she did. but I wasn't paying much attention to the movie. Himeko, I think, wasn't really doing that much either. Over the minutes that passed throughout the movie, we shuffle a little closer to each other on the sofa. Eventually, after half an hour passed, Himeko was laying against me, scorching red in the face, and my arm was around her shoulders to hold her close. I think we were very domestic in this moment, as though we'd been living together for an age. And to be blunt, I just wanted to F her right here on the sofa. I was dying, and I think she was too. So, how was the rest of your day? Yep, she definitely was. Oh god. I could tell, even as she spoke, that her mind was entirely somewhere else, too. And that thought alone was hot. Oh, it was fine. I bumped into a friend on the way here and stopped to talk to her. A friend? Yeah, her name was Yuki. She's a bartender at the Tiger's Den, but that's not how I met her. We've been friends since childhood. I see. Did you ever date? Himiko's last few words were a little sharper than usual. I found myself turned on even more at the thought of her being possessive. No, we've never. Oh, I see. Good. Good, huh? Well, that's an interesting choice of words. I meant that it's good you two are still friends after so long. I chuckled as Himeko huddled against me, and I put my arm a little more snugly around her body. You really are cute, you know. Her breasts were amazing. I kept looking down at them from the corner of my eye as she sat against me, with her hand resting against my stomach as she sat, and I felt a little lecherous for doing so. But she just looked so good. I could not get that picture she sent me out of my mind either. So how was your day after coming to Bakudan Books? My day? Oh. I was mostly cleaning. I had to let it get kind of messy in here. Yeah, it's like that sometimes. Thanks for tidying up on my account. Well, I didn't want you to work in junk, Haruka. It's no problem, and I wrote up a little plan of what I want the story for my manga to be. You did? That's awesome. I can't wait to read. I can't wait to read your writing either. I smiled at Himeko. She nestled a little more against me, and the urge to make out with her was so overwhelming I had to cross my legs a few times. But I figured if she wasn't making the move yet, there was definitely a good reason for it. It's something that didn't faze her at all, after all. But if I had to guess, I think she didn't want to feel distracted all week by thoughts of fucking, and to be honest, that was a good tactic. Of course, I was just assuming she felt that way, but geez, I sure did too. I knew I wouldn't get anything done if we started having sex tonight, no matter how much I wanted to. And I think that was the tip-off of just how important she was to me. I'm willing to hold these emotions back for her sake. Prioritizing a girl's dream over sleeping with her? Now that's true love. The movie continued into the night, much longer than the both of us were anticipating, even with Himeko having already seen it before. Eventually, through the rife sexual tension of our bodies being pressed close to one another, the two of us fell asleep at the end of the movie. If being here on the first night, watching a kind of shitty movie, was going to be this sexually frustrating, I could only imagine what the next few days held in store for us as far as that went. By the time the week was out, I was going to be crazy if we hadn't had sex at least once.
Bakudan.
As I found my eyes flickering open, the sunlight began to poke through the blinds quietly. I felt Himeko squirming against me quickly, as though she'd been caught in the act of something. I blinked to open my eyes properly. Himeko? How did we fall asleep? What? Oh, yes, we slept here all night, it seems. Himeko gestured her skirt a little for some reason and looked a bit flushed in the face. I raised an eyebrow as she looked away from me, and I wrapped my arms around her stomach drowsily. Were you doing something while I was asleep? No, my hands moved up to almost touch her breasts. Oh, come on, Haruka, have some impulse control. Come on, get it together. Himeko squirmed as she went back against me, fully begging me to touch her wordlessly before both of us shook our heads and leapt up to our feet. So, work, right? Got work, lots of work to do. Better start now. Right this second. Yes, I'm working, right? I'll be back. Bathroom. Himeko rushed out of the living room without even a second glance at me, and I felt the ache of in between my legs triple in size. Fuck. It was too hot for her own good. I wondered just what she'd been doing whilst I was asleep against her. Running a hand through my hair, I Tried to shake off that burning need to know how Himeko's breasts would have felt in the palm of my hands, and picked up my bag that was still at the front of the door. There was a bedroom to the side of the living room. I'd guess that was where Himeko and I were supposed to be staying, rather than falling asleep on the sofa rife with sexual tension every night. Not that I'd complain about that, though, really. Last night was just perfect as it was. I opened the door to see a relatively large bed inside a well-organized room, situated next to a laptop and some well-placed ornaments on the shelves above. In front of Himeko's bed and next to the door I'd walked in, there was a much smaller TV station atop a chest of drawers. And besides that was a bedroll rolled up neatly by its side. Himeko had obviously gotten it out as preparation, but something tells me he won't be sleeping separately for that much longer. It was a cute bedroom. Smelled just like her, and seemed like a place she'd hole herself up in often. Couldn't wait to be in here with her. I laughed to myself in excitement as I threw my bag inside on the floor, and walked back outside with the closing of the door behind me. Himeko didn't take long in the bathroom this time compared to the cat cafe. She looked considerably more composed this time, too. I followed suit after her return, sorting myself out and freshening up a little for the day ahead. I wondered what was going to happen now. It sounded like we were really in for a grueling few days. Bracing myself, I took a deep breath and walked back outside into the living room. When I re-emerged, I found that Himeko had placed a laptop on the table before me, as well as a bunch of papers and pens. What's all this, Okay, here you go. Oh. Handing me a sheet of paper, Himeko's words flew off of the page in frantic scribbles. Couldn't make heads or tails of her messy handwriting. Uh-oh. Himeko, you're gonna need help me decipher this. Oh! Himeko blinked, adjusting her glasses, and shuffled over a little to where I was sat on the floor before the laptop. Oh, okay, so this is a story plan. Do you want to write it down on the laptop as I read it? Sure, sounds good to me. Bringing up a blank document on the screen before me, Himeko took the paper back from my hands and cleared her throat as she began to read. Okay, so, conducting her story out loud, I found it much easier to type it as she read out loud. Just as before, it sounded incredible. A big mech-filled story full of girls kissing, fighting, exploding rival schools and skyscrapers and enemy territories. She'd been putting a hell of a lot of thought into this. And if the magazine competition she'd entered had also deemed it something they wanted to see more of, I honestly didn't see how this could fail. Wow, that sounds amazing. The magazine isn't going to know what hit it. Himeko blushed as she rubbed the back of her neck and nodded bashfully. Thank you. I actually drew one before, too. It was about women with amazing muscles. So that was why she was looking at a comic so intently. And just what was that called? Was it published? Oh, yes, it was. But the company that was printing it got arrested for fraud over in the Bahamas. Oh, shit. Wow. So only a seldom few copies exist. Seldom few copies. Muscle women? I wonder just what book she wrote. Regardless, I could tell the subject was a tentative one for Himeko, so I decided to steer us back to work. So you just want me to write the first few pages of the chapter, right? Yes, that'd be great. You'll have a lot less than me to do in the days, but it's better if we're just on the same place now, just so we can go over any mistakes or changes one of us might make. Sure, that's understandable. So, what's first for you? Himeko tapped her chin as she held a pen in her hands, before nodding to herself surely. Well, first we begin with something called a name. A name? I take it you don't mean the title or anything. Yes, it's a term for the rough sketch that the mangaka does before starting anything. That sounds interesting. Yes, so after I've drawn that, I'll show it to you. And then from the story ideas I showed you, you write up a loose script of what you think would fit best there. Alright. That sounds great. I'll get to work as soon as you finish then. Okay. Shouldn't take me long. I watched with a smitten smile as Himeko procured a long white piece of cloth from beneath the table. Oh. And tied it to her head with a sense of conviction. She's so cute. She was ready to give it her all. Himeko took the lid off with her pen, and with a satisfying clicking sound, and as she began to work, I found it amazing to watch her in action. She was incredibly quick with the pen, and with such talent as well. I watched in awe as she brought her characters to life with such effortless ease, even through such quick sketches. Oh, sorry. Even though it's such quick. Akin to a witch creating something from thin air by some sort of spell, she really was amazing. Her drawings were a sight to behold, even in this loosest form that she considered something a little more than a doodle. I'd be happy with myself if I'd even just managed that much. It roughly took about 10 minutes for her to draw up the rough draft of the first couple of pages and handed me them to see what I thought. I was taken aback. Wow, Himeko, these are incredible. You can just do that? Well, I did nothing but draw for a long time. So impressive. I feel totally inspired. You do? Are you kidding? Of course, I get to work right away. Thank you, Haruka. Himeko beamed at me, happy with my approval of her work, and as I began to type up the first draft of the chapter's script, I found myself rather exhilarated by the experience too. It was a fantastic feeling, getting to work on a project like this. I knew that the hard work had only really just begun, but writing again felt so wonderful. The rush of being creative flooded back to me. I felt like I was doing exactly what I was meant to be doing. My fingers glided across the keyboard with ease, typing up a storm, putting what I thought the introduction should say, what the characters should say, and how their tone should be into words. It was an incredibly interesting experience. The whole process made me feel like maybe this was my calling too, and to get to do it with Himeko only made it even better. I wasn't naive though. I knew that I had considerably less work to do than her. While the writing side of things took me around about an hour, Himeko had only just managed to finish the actual real sketches at the first page by that point. Now I have to do the hard task, which is lining them. Lining? Yes, this is probably the most important part because unlike pencil, you can't erase the mistakes. Sort of. Luckily, there's whiteout paste to cover up mistakes, but it looks shoddy if you use it too much. Wow, so much goes into the production of something like this, doesn't it? Yes. I think you have to really want it to get far in this business. We're gonna be really busy for quite a while. But I'm excited. Especially as it's with you, Haruka. Himeko? I frowned. Worried for Himeko's health already as she began to work herself into the ground. Is she gonna be okay? As soon as I finished my writing and editing for the day within a couple hours, I decided to make myself useful by treating Himeko like a princess as she were. I did everything I could to think of for her. I made her food, I brought her drinks that were carefully placed on the floor so as not to spill all over the manuscript she was working on. I found myself getting a little lost in watching her, to be honest, which felt like an entirely new intimate experience all on its own. Getting to see somebody going for it as something they were truly passionate about, fire in her eyes set my heart alight. For the next few days, this was the process that Himeko and I were about to go through and got a lot closer from because of it. Alrighty, well that's going to be it for this part. I hope you all have a good day and I'll see you next week. Have a good day everybody, and as always, take care.